Hey flower friends, it is time to pot up some of my seedlings. Look, these are the Ivy Geraniums that I started from seed. This is one of my recycled containers that I used. This was the lid and I used it as a catch tray. But these, I'm so excited, so many of them germinated and I got quite a few there. And then here are the zonal geraniums or pelargoniums that I potted up. Now these were the ones that were store-bought, the seeds, and then these were the ones collected from my plants. So we've got plenty. Now these really could stay in here a lot longer, but I wanted to reuse this container to start some other seeds. I've been succession sowing seeds because I do it when I have time, and there's only so much room on my rack. In fact, I've got to get in my basement, get another light out. One of my ballasts, or whatever you call it, that holds the bulbs, it went out. So I've got to replace that because I'm needing more and more lights on my shelves because I'm getting a lot of things going. So, okay, let's get going. Let me see if you can see. Yes, you can see this down here. I don't think I need to tip it down any. Alrighty. Now I'm going to pot them up into these 6-pack containers because they take up less room than the other pots, and I don't have very many of my small pots. What are my little 2 or 3 inches? Yeah, I don't have very many of these, and so these are about the same size, relatively, and they take up less room because they're all together. So I just use regular potting soil. This is the one, everybody asks me which one I use. When I'm not making my own DIY potting soil, I use Edna's Best potting soil. And it says on it with the nutrients they put in it, meaning like worm castings and manures and bat guano, it has like 3 months worth of nutrition. So I don't need to add any fertilizer. So don't think you always have to. Read the package of your potting mix and see what it recommends. Some of them do have plenty of goodies in it that you do not need to add any extra fertilizer. And why I say that is because I was just watching another video someone was making, and they were mixing into the fresh potting soil some slow release fertilizer, and I'm thinking, I don't know, I was not familiar with that potting soil, so it may be one that needs it, but if you get a good quality, most good quality potting soils do have enough goodness in them that you don't have to add a slow release fertilizer. And I know I've mentioned this in one of my other videos, but it's worth mentioning again because it happens all the time. The number one problem home gardeners or beginner gardeners have is they over-fertilize. That's the plain truth of it. So if you want success, be careful. More is not always better. More nutrition, more food. They have what they need. Don't be trying to force feed them. It's kind of force feeding a kid, and then you end up with a chubby little munchkin. That's not healthy. That is just not healthy for your plants either. Okay, that being said, I need to, that's one of my catchphrases, huh? That being said, I need to find my little trowel, and it's not in here. Doggone it. I love my little trowel. Oh, there it is. I always try to put things back where they belong because that way then I can find them again. All right. So I've got the potting soil in here, filled it up to the top. It will sink down a little bit as I water, so that's why I make sure I fill it to the top. I'm going to start with this one. So I wonder if I should put the camera here and you can put it down. I don't know. You probably can see fine from where you're at. Now, maybe I'll move the camera. So here we go. There you get a bird's eye view of what I'm doing. So let me put this back. Alrighty. So here, that's my thermometer for here. So here is our little seedlings, and here's what I'm going to put them into. So I'm just going to go along and with my little trowel get underneath the roots, and I'm going to be very gentle in pulling it up. Now you notice I hold it by a leaf and not a stem, because if a leaf rips off, that's fine, but if you damage a stem, then it's not good. So then we're just going to make us a little hole, and we'll put it down in there. We will firm it very gently, and then when we water in, it will help to settle it in there more. Now the roots have started to go along the bottom, so they're longer than you would think they would be. They don't just stop when they get to the bottom. Look at that. Can you see those roots? Very long. So it's a good thing we're potting them up, giving them a little direction instead of trying to run along the bottom. So this, I have 2 6-packs. I'm probably going to have to find another one. These are all scrubbed up and ready to roll so that they're nice and safe for the seedlings. And that's basically how we pot these little puppies up. Now, ivy geraniums are the ones you'll see the European photographs of, like in Italy and what have you. You have these window boxes and they're draping really far, and that is a lot of times these ivy geraniums that have gone gangbusters and just grown like nobody's business. And these, I think, are a little less tender than the zonals, so you can get them to overwinter a little easier outside. When I lived in the valley, mine went crazy because they didn't die off. They just kind of went a little bit dormant, and then they came back. So probably I will do an attempt of overwintering these like I did the others. So I'm just going to fill this up with potting soil. That's what happens when you look at the camera instead of what you're doing. You end up dumping it on the table. All right. So tap it down so it kind of goes in, settles down in there, and it'll settle again more, like I said, when I water. So making sure I get the individuals. Nice roots. Nice roots. So wonderful. Loving these. Oh, that one coming up. Now this will probably invigorate these to grow even faster than if I left them in. Today it actually got up to 77 here in the greenhouse. I was sweating. But that's because the sun was hitting on it. Though we're supposed to get more snow this next week, but thankfully it's not near what we have been getting. So that's a blessing. And they are actually diverting river water, that instead of all this moisture going to the ocean, they're putting it into, what do they call the Board of, or the something reclamation, and they're putting it into like wildlife areas, preserves, and they're letting it go down into the aquifer, which is really great because the aquifer's been depleted here in California. All right, there's 12. Wow, 12 of them. So now I have another pot cleaned up, and I'll just fill it. Now, one thing, I won't have to mark these, what they are, because it is so evident because of their leaf structure and what they're doing that I know what they are, so I won't have to write it on the thing. Yeah. Okay. Keep on going. I'll probably fast forward through this for you so you're not having to watch it and get bored to tears since it's repetition. To give these the best head start, or I should say the best chance at recovering from any shock, whatever, from being transplanted up, I'm going to let them sit in water to draw it up. Now, the potting soil was not super wet, which was great. It makes it easy to get into the containers. I prefer bottom watering rather than going over the top and just letting it absorb it as it needs it. Now, my water had some of the organic Rev in it. Let me show you this. I use it when I transplant, when I seed start, and all sorts of stuff like that to help my plants to develop roots that are sturdy and strong and makes for a stronger plant. Let me see what else it says it does. Healthier, faster growing, stronger plants, enhances flowers, fruits, and vegetables, shrubs, trees, lawns, and more. Natural formula stimulates plants immediately. So it is a concentrate. A little bit goes a long way. So give it a whirl if you like. I have a discount code in the description box below, but I use it a lot and I have been impressed with the results. So that one can go in there too. So these are the Ivy Geraniums all potted up, and now I'm going to go on and do the zonal pelargoniums or geraniums. And these will go back into the house on the light rack. And mostly, I mean, these could make it out here. They just wouldn't fill in as well as it will in the warmth of the house. Or I could put it in my studio cottage, which in there it stays between 60 and 70 at night. Right around 60 really. So I could put these in there if I'm running out of room on my light shelf, which I kind of am, but mostly because I have a lot of cuttings and stuff still there, that like leaf cuttings of African violets, and I need to get rid of them. I was thinking of having a little plant sale here, which I know a lot of people would love, the African violets or whatever, but no one can access it because of the snow so deep. So there's no parking, there's no anything. I'll have to wait till the weather's clear, and then people can be invited to come over and buy plants and whatever else. So that, my friends, is the potting up of the geranium seedlings. As I said, the zonals will be done exactly the same way. So if you enjoyed this video, and I hope you did, let me know, what kind of geraniums are you growing, or have you tried growing geraniums from seed? And I will make sure I put the link in the description box of when I started these seeds and how I did it. And also, I don't know if I have one of how to collect the seeds. I do know I had a blog post on how to collect geranium seeds, so you can start more of your own anytime you wanted to. The only caveat is you will not always get what's true to the plant because they cross-pollinate. Like I had a white one, a beautiful white one, and I loved it, but all the seedlings, none of them came white. They were pink and all kinds of colors, but no white. So that's what happens. So I will continue on, and I will see you in my next video.